Confidential Letter to the Teenagers. Written by Esther Oladimeji. 2020. Greetings to the teenagers. I thank God for the favor and grace you have, because you are born in this century and period, enriched with a lot of good and comfortable things, technology and all. You enjoy the luxurious things of our time. And most thankful because you are enriched with so much youthfulness, so much time and opportunities ahead of you, that we cannot get back. You have love, people who care for you, teachers who guide you, to mention a few. No doubt, this is the part many of us just see, although that does not make it untrue. But I also see the other part, the inner you, because I have once been the before. I see the pain, the struggles, and the problems you face that are being ignored by everyone else. Because of these privileges you have, the expectations from you are high. We all expect you to be happy, as you should have no worries since you are still young. I want you to understand that it is not that they do not care or understand you, but the world is moving fast, and nobody has time. We all have our own things going. I stand in your shoes now. I look through you, and I can see your struggles. And that is why these coming days, I will be writing you a series of letters as a best friend and a sister. I am delighted, and cannot do without telling you how long and how much I have been longing to reach you. But due to circumstances and not having the privilege of time, I am writing this letter late. But all that matters is my letter is finally getting to you. I want you to know that someone out here worries, loves, and cares for you. Introduction. Knowing your struggles. When you resist, what is your struggle? Resistance is thought transformed into feeling. Change the thought that creates resistance, and there is no more resistance. Robert Conklin. When things are not working out the way you want them to, or when people turn your world upside down, an entire gamut of emotions are unleashed that you have to sort through, and determine which ones serve your well-being as a teenager, and which ones dig you deeper in a hole. We typically want what we want when we want it. When we do not get it, or when something or someone upsets our program, we go into a resistance mode, and try and fight for what we want, or worse, we try and control things. One of the most challenging things to do, is to accept what is, and not waste your time resisting some situation or some person or thing that you cannot change. The only thing you can change is your mind. You can change your attitude about the person or situation. Still, when you resist, you allow negative energy to push your peace of mind out. When you mentally resist anything, you actually give it more power over you. The more you rehearse it in your mind and continually dwell on thoughts of anger, hatred, revenge, jealousy, etc., these exact thoughts will have a more significant impact on how you feel than the actual circumstance or event. Focusing your thoughts on why, what if only, and reliving whatever it is that rocked your world, not only makes you feel worse, it keeps you mired in the past, and does nothing in helping you to let go of it and move on. Once you come to terms with the fact that it is what it is, or they are who they are, then you will realize that no amount of your struggling, whining, crying, rehashing, moaning, or self-imposed grief and aggravation, is ever going to make any difference. So, do yourself a favor. Every time you start to go down that path, stop yourself in your tracks, and release all of the garbage that goes along with holding on to things you cannot do anything about. Know that it is not the person or situation causing you to struggle, it is your unwillingness to accept reality. The more you resist and fight reality, the longer you torment yourself and keep yourself stuck in a negative state of mind. It is up to you, as to whether you continually relive the past and let it eat you alive, or whether you chalk it up to another one of life's lesson, and let it go and move on. Wishing things were different leads to needless suffering. You cannot control people and things, you can only control how you will react to it. Life happens to all of us, especially as a teenager, and we choose how we look at things. Your perspective and how you choose to view what happens will determine how you will live your life going forward. So choose wisely. Ways to transform your struggles into victories. Have you read the famous quote, "Every struggle is a victory"? It was stated by an extraordinary person who overcame great challenges and achieved greatness. Her name was Helen Keller. Let us discuss 5 key aspects of turning your struggles into victories. Manage your emotions. The first step to dealing with a challenge is to manage your emotions. In challenging times, we often feel a sense of overwhelm, helplessness, or a wide range of other emotions. We need to control these emotions for us to be able to think clearly about the situation. You can manage your emotions in a few ways. You could distract yourself until you regain your composure. You could change your environment, do some exercise, listen to soothing music, eat hot foods, take a nice relaxing bath, or even help someone else. Get the facts. What happened? What caused this situation? Which part was caused by me, and which part was caused by others? What options exist? How have other people in similar situations solved similar problems? What could I do to improve things, even if it only makes a small difference? Information is key to making the right choices. Do something to gain at least a little control. Do something, however small, to gain at least some control over the situation. You can ask yourself, what could I do to gain even a little control over this situation? What small thing could I do to influence this situation? Then do it. Do something to limit the reach. No matter how bad a situation may appear, there is almost always a way to limit its impact. Napoleon Hill said, "In every adversity lies the seed of equal or even greater benefit." Even the worst situations can be turned into good. All you need to do is wonder how this situation can be used to your advantage. How can you limit the reach of this situation? How can you limit how long this situation needs to endure? When you have these answers, take decisive action. Taking action fills you with hope and a sense that you can do something about the situation. Take it one step at a time. The final principle of dealing with challenges is to take it one step at a time. Helen Keller, who lost both her sight and hearing while still a very young child, used this principle to great effect. She completed a university degree, learned several languages including classical Greek, became a world-famous author, and was called the greatest woman of our age by Winston Churchill. Whilst completing her university degree and facing almost unbelievable obstacles, she would simply continue. She would fight one battle at a time, and slowly but surely get through the challenge. Her life attests to the power of this approach. Similarly, take it one at a time, strive to do at least one thing every day, no matter how small, and you will notice your situation change. Letter 1. Love one another, make the future better. Dated the 22nd of September 2020. Dear teenagers. As my first official letter to you, I will drive in the point with all honesty and straightforwardness. Before we expect to be loved, I appeal to you to love one another, for love cannot be divided. We cannot expect our problems to be noticed when we do not notice the problems of fellow teenagers around us. When we do not love others. When we treat each other with disrespect and only known for bullying, envy, and hate. As much as I try to remember the good times of my teenage years, my mind thinks of the dark times. The times of hatred, bully, pain, and sorrow. I was not born as a child with hate, but I grew up with hate from high school. We turn out to be how we are from our childhood, from our teenage years. Because the teenage years has a significant impact on how we and the society will be. Pride is the root of all sin. The tree of evil begins with the pride of man. Hate is the darkness of man which comes directly from pride. Pride gives birth to all of man's sin. Destroy the roots of pride, and you will destroy sin. If it was not for the righteous, man would have destroyed himself years ago. That is how powerful pride is. Pride gives birth to sins like anger, jealousy, envy, greed, gluttony, hate, crime, wars, racism, abortions, gossip, violence, rape, murder, and so on. You need to overcome your pride so that you can acquire the love of God. This way, we can walk with God and love one another. Hate is a powerful, negative emotion. Love can conquer hate. We need to suppress this hate and practice loving one another, and caring enough about our fellow teens to help them out whenever possible. Why do we see another person's skin color? Why do we blame one race for this happening and another for that happening? God did create us all. We are all humans that make mistakes. This is why we need to teach each other with love and kindness instead of condemning one another. We can be so much happier when we see the good in others and bring that out of them. Instead, we sometimes blame people for our own misery. If everyone would just learn to look over the negative things and grab hold of the positive things, they would overcome that darkness of their pride and live a happy life. Imagine if everyone was sharing their love from their heart and not spreading hate. Imagine if everyone was living in harmony with each other. What a beautiful world it would be. God teaches us to love one another, not to hate each other. Man does this for one reason: it comes from pride. I feel sad that you have to deal with the evil on this earth, and that the past generation did not leave a world filled with love and happiness behind. But instead, you are in a world full of chaos and disasters. But we ourselves can change that. We also do not have to leave behind a worse environment or society for our children or generations coming behind. We are the future, and we have the power to make the future a right place. We all need to realize that everyone is different. We need to be patient with each other by working together in peace and harmony. We can stamp out hate, and it begins with you. Love one another.